What's up, everybody? Back with you on another grade review, this time with Mint Authentication. Never graded with them before, but seen a couple reviews of them so far on YouTube. First, really like the look of their slabs. Second, love that they do subgrades. And third, I love that they actually give you a grading report with each card that they did. So being it's a newer company, I decided to pull a couple cards, send them over to them just to do a review, see how quick it comes back. What does their grade report show? How accurate is it compared to what you're seeing on the card? And so on and so forth. So I picked 4 cards out. I think pretty sure it was 4 cards that I sent that I knew there was some defects on the cards, and I wanted to see how did they use that within their grading scale? How is it shown on the report? And how much does the defects level towards their grading decision of the card? So with that being said, I'm going to pull these out. I will then pull up the grade report and see what it says compared to what we can see and kind of compare and contrast. A couple things about Mint. They are a new company. They have been incredible so far when it comes to customer service. Every time I've sent them a message asking them questions, I've received a response back within a day or the same day itself. They are huge supporters of veterans and first responders, which is something I am very passionate about. And they do offer discounts for those that do serve both in the military and if you're a first responder. So if you want to try out Mint Authentication, you're a veteran, you're a first responder, shoot them a message. They will be able to get you a discount code. It's going to be 10% off your total price of what you're going to be sending in to get graded. So with that being said, let's pop it open and see how they look and how the packaging is. Now, I sent these cards right before I went on vacation. So in total, from time that I sent the cards out till I got this back in the mail has been about 10 days. So incredibly quick turnaround. There is no minimum number of cards that you have to send in. It is $14 a card. I believe it's an extra $5 for an autograph ranking. They do crossover grading. They do autograph only authentication. So there is a lot of cool benefits that you can get from this company. Now, here is a promo code, Mint10. Here's just one right here, up until May 31st, 10% off. So if you want to give them a shot, there you go. QR code, promo code. See what they do for you. So, okay. Let's get these out and see what we got. Looks like one may not have been graded. So let's see. Oh, no. Okay. Actually, that is really cool. These are all the semi-rigids that I sent in for the grading process. So unlike PSA and everybody else, whatever they do with the millions of semi-rigids they get, they just sent them right back to you. I know that's probably not a big deal for most, but for someone that ships cards every day, it's nice to get some shipping materials back. One less thing I got to pay for. And these are the ding protectors I actually sent in with the cards as well. So very cool that they actually sent this back. Like I said, I know it's not a big deal, but once again, for someone that ships a bunch of stuff, it's nice to get some shipping materials back that you can then recycle. So we'll pull these out real quick and see what we got. Also really like that the slab bubble packages were not used, just folded over. So these are definitely going to be recycled into my shipping inventory for future slab sales. Very, very cool. All right, so we can just tell there's our subgrades. I knew this one was going to have a centering issue. So corners were 98, edges 90, surface 100, and my centering being 78. So score Jackson Dart, and we got a 9. Cool. Definitely could see this one was more right heavy when I sent this in. I didn't see any centering issues on the card. We will definitely look at the edges. I knew there was some kind of whitening up here on the top. We'll see if that's what they're showing in the grade report. Other than that, not too unhappy with that. Very cool. So we will pull up the grade report on this card, see what they are finding, what they use towards the grade, and go from there. I really love the look of these slabs. I love the kind of minimalistic feel and kind of a tuxedo feel to it, more black and white with a little bit of that mint green. Definitely can look good with maybe some Jaguar cards and some color matching with their logo. But really cool slab. So pull up the grade report, see what they find. All right, so how do we get our grade report? Well, there's two methods. Number one, we can come to their website, mintauthentication.com, click Verify Cert, enter in our card's cert number, and it will bring up our grade report. The second way is if we are not on our computer, we can just scan the QR code with our phone. It will bring us right to the Verify Cert webpage, enter in your details, pull it up that way. So you'll get an image front and back of your card, basic card details, and then the grade and subgrades. Right underneath our subgrades, we will see here is our grader's notes. And to start for centering, we are going to report on the front that it's shifted up and to the left. So looking at the card, we can definitely tell that it is slightly heavier on the right than the left to give us that left shift. But top and bottom, I'm having a really hard time seeing it here. Maybe we're just ever so slightly heavier on the bottom than the top to give us that up-left shift. I'll have to remeasure this with my centering tool to see exactly what tolerance they're giving this. But on the rear, they were getting a report of a shifted right, which we can tell that we are heavier on the left than we are to the right. So just looking at this card, I mean, I thought the centering was pretty decent and maybe within tolerance, but we can tell at a center of 78 that they do grade pretty hard on centering. I don't know if it's just because the front and the back have centering issues that bring us down that much, but they are definitely strict on centering. So on our edges, they're reporting on the rear. We do have some chipping and whitening at the top, which we already saw before coming into this, so that is accurate. How do we get this overall grade of a 9? Well, if we go to their grading scale on the website, we can see our grades of 1 to 10. Gem mints, you can get a diamond label pristine pretty much, and then just underneath that. But what they do is you add up all your subgrade scores, which on this dark card gives us a total score of 366. That lands us here at a mint 9. So I like their grade report. I think it is a little bit less detailed that you get like on Arena Club or Tag. But Arena Club and Tag are using AI software so they can bring a lot of that information up on the page, where Mint Authentication is human graded. So we get our grades, we get the reports. I like it a whole lot better than not getting anything from most of the other grading companies. So there's our dark card. All right, so moving forward, we have Quinn Ewers throwback. And we can see that our corners are 95, edges 95, surface 97, and centering 70. Now, I knew the back centering was definitely off. One of the reasons why I sent in this card to see how hard they are in grading with back centering. We got an 8.5, and you can tell that it was also shifted to the right, very left heavy on this one. That's one of the reasons I picked this card to send out. Corners, didn't really see any issues on the corners or the edges when I sent it in. I'll be curious what they found on the surface, especially with the textured of the throwback cards. You can see the texturing that is normal on this card. If it's going to throw out a defect that's not really there. Another reason why I wanted to send in a throwback to see how they grade these. Now, I knew the grade was going to be definitely off from the centering, but was very curious about how they were going to grade the surface on these cards. Because the throwbacks, if there's not a centering issue, you can tell too. I didn't even see the top and bottom. So definitely really off on the centering with this card. So for an 8.5, I don't think that is unreasonable at all for just the centering itself. But let's pull up the grade report and see what they found on the surface. All right, so we got Mr. Shuck pulled up. Scroll down and see what our notes are. So for centering, the front, they're saying we are shifted down and to the right. Definitely heavier left than the right, so there's our shift to the right. And then looking top to bottom, here's our heavy top versus bottom, so there's our right bottom shift.
For the rear of the card, we are down into the left. So heavier top than bottom and heavier right than left. So there's our down left shift. Our centering score was 70 compared to 78 on the dark card. And the dark card looked a whole lot more in center than this one for just an 8-point difference. So, like I said, they're definitely very strict on centering. I think the dark maybe could have gotten a little bit heavier on the center score than the 78. But alas, that's what we have. They didn't report anything else, though, here in the grader's notes. So for the surface at a 97, texture absolutely did nothing to impact our score. And then the edges and corners are both at a 95. I didn't see anything. I'll take a quick little look on the microscope just to see if there's something that popped out to bring it down past or underneath 100. But other than that, let's add up our subgrades and see what we fall within this grading scale. So for our subgrade edition, we got a 357, which lands us right here at our 8.5 near mint grade. All right, well, there is our Tyler Shook.
All right. So moving along, we have a Jackson Dart Artistry in Motion, Rookies and Stars. The Rookies and Stars definitely had a lot more quality issues from other sets that Panini put out this year. So let's see what we got with this one. Subgrades, we got 95 in the corners, edges were 86, surface 97, and centering was great. I knew the edges were going to have a little bit of issues. There was some whitening that I saw. So let's see what we got. 9.5. All right. That's not too bad for Rookies and Stars. Very good looking in the slab. So let's go ahead, pull up the grade report and see where they are marking off on the edges and compare to what we can see.
All right, so on Dart, we are getting a report for the edges that it's rough cut with some writing on the rear. So don't get a lot more details on where or why. But I did take another peek of this card underneath the microscope, and you can tell right here on the top right edge, it is a little bit more rougher cut than the rest of the card. And on the corners, I didn't see anything. Surface, I didn't see anything. Center, I didn't see anything. So I think this rough cut whitening is just located here to the top right of the card. So now going back to our grading scale, adding up all of our subgrades, we are sitting at a total score of 376, which lands us there at the 9.5 gem mint. So not bad. Down for that grade. Let's move along.
Cool. All right. So moving on, we have a Tyler Shook. This is a Phoenix out of 25. I believe turquoise out of 25. So wanted to send this in not only just for the color match itself, the turquoise with the turquoise on the mint, but see, I think there was a little, if I remember right, defect on the front left of the surface. Wanted to see what they caught on that and how much it dinged down their grade. Don't remember centering being too much of an issue, but I knew this was a pretty quick pull too when I sent this in. So we got a 9. And I don't, right there, you can see right on camera, right there, a little foiling issue on the top left. Oh, this is out of 175, I'm sorry. I think I have a 25 Tyler Shook over with Beckett. But, I mean, very clean looking card in this slab. I love the teal on teal. I knew this definitely wasn't going to be a 10 just from the surface itself. So I'm going to be very curious how they report this on their grading report. So let's pull it up and see what else they found.
So we got Tyler pulled up. Now looking at our notes for centering, we are being told that on the front we are shifted to the left. So finding our points of reference, we'll use his nameplate, these diagonal lines. We are definitely heavier right than we are heavier left. So there is our left shift. On the rear, we are shifted right. So using that same diagonal line point of reference, we are definitely heavier left than we are to the right. So there is our right shift. We are being told that there are print bubbles on the right thigh. So when I read this, I did look under the microscope, and there is just an ever so small little bubble right here in this black line of his right thigh. You can't even see it by the naked eye, and I had to use extra magnification to actually pull it up. So they are getting pretty detailed on that surface blemish right there. And then the blemish on the top left of the card, which we already knew before we came into it. So let's add up our subgrades and see where we land on the grading scale. So for Mr. Shuck, by adding up all of our subgrades, we got a total score of 366, which puts us back at that Mint 9 grade. So for a 9 for the 2 blemishes and the centering, not bad. Not unhappy with it. Let's go on to the last card.
All right, now moving on. Last but not least, Brett Favre. This is going to be 2002, if I remember right, Topps. Had this in the collection for a while. Definitely some surface issues on the front. One of the reasons I picked this one out to send to Mint, you can already tell that surface was definitely dinged on this, but centering, corners, and edges were very good on this card. Had this in my collection for a while, and we got a 9.5. Awesome. I'm actually really excited about that grade. I thought it was going to get a 9. I don't know if you can see, but you can see the print line right here in the G, and there is some micro scratching in the G to the right over here. Other than that, I did not see any other defects on the surface outside of right here in the foiling, those scratches and print lines. But the edges were really clean. I felt the centering was very clean on this card. So with that print line and the scratches, I'm actually incredibly excited that this was a 9.5. I think this looks amazing. It's kind of had a color blast feel to me. So really, really love this card. 2002 Topps Pristine out of 349 refractor. Gorgeous card. Definitely one of my favorites in my PC. Didn't really care about sending this off for PSA or anybody else. This isn't getting sold. This is staying with me until I'm in the ground. But very, very happy with this 9.5. So pull up the grade report on this one. Let's see what else they found, how they're reporting it, and compare and contrast.
All right, so we got Brett pulled up. Looking at the notes for the surface, we only have notes for the rear. There's a scratch machine line going through the middle of the card. Hard to see on camera, but there is a machine line that goes right through the center right here. And then there is a print dot on the top left. Right to the right of the G, there's a small little black speck. So those are the two things that dinged us down to an 80. I'm actually surprised that the front of the card in the G, we didn't get any notes for some of these machine lines that are in the foil. Maybe there's a little bit more leniency with the refractor foil, but those are the two things that the grader gave us. So let's go over to the grading scale. Let's add up our subgrades and see where we landed. So for our 4 subgrades, we ended up with a total score of 373, which landed us right at the lower end score of a 9.5. So for a 24-year-old card, I'm not unhappy with that whatsoever.
All right, guys, so that is just a real quick review on Mint Authentication. If you want to try them out, once again, here is the QR code. And here is a promo code to get 10% off your first grading with them. It is available till May 31st. Please try them out. $14 a card, very reasonable, especially for a 10-day turnaround. For those that have been watching and supporting and gotten this far in the video, really, really appreciate it. Love you guys. Thank you all for the comments, the support, and the reaching out. Till next time, love and peace. Stay blessed. Zen out.